guys, my name is Lelasophia. I am an artist and fine jewelry designer. If you like contemporary fine jewelry, if you like luxury handbags, all things interiors, then I have some fun videos for you. You guys, okay, the age-old the grass is always greener, or is it? Okay, I've been exploring this idea in my head for quite a long time, to be honest, and we have some even more wonderful, accurate, poignant examples currently. Why do trends go so opposite? Why are the directions so polarized, and why do we always want what we don't have? But first and foremost, if you guys are new here, thank you so much for tuning in. I can't wait to see you in all of my future videos. Make sure that you like this video, subscribe to my channel, follow me on Instagram at lelasophia jewelry. I put out videos every Wednesday, Friday, and Sunday, and so I cannot wait to see you guys in the next one. Okay, so this has, again, this has kind of been a theme because in some loop-de-loop way, I am going to relate this to handbag collecting, jewelry collecting shoes, anything, honestly. But you know, in our world, we're pretty much luxury handbags and fine jewelry. So to start out with, before we get to those points of mine, because I find myself really like overanalyzing. Yes, clearly I'm an overanalytical kind of girl. I have been finding myself overanalyzing my entire collection, but also kind of getting to a much better state where I actually don't feel the need as much to want what I don't have. And there just happen to be such good examples right now of how you can ride the lines, of how you can dibble dabble, of how you can experiment. And we know Miss Me, anti-trend herself, I just love looking at trends because it's fascinating. It's like human psychology 101, okay? TikTok is truly like a psychological experiment. I think it's so fascinating, and especially as I've talked about ad nauseum for all my regular people, yada, 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 especially last year when things got absolutely bonkers, when trends were coming and going like the wind, literally. That was insane, and we've reached a little bit more of a normal standpoint. I don't know if things will ever be normal again because the internet now exists, and not just the internet, but social media, and not just social media, but 3-second long social media. And so I've been noticing some things. My kind of original ideas, and to give a really good overview, is I've always said this, and then I finally, thank God, figured out the perfect imagery because, you know, I'm a very, if you can't already tell, I'm a very visual kind of person. I'm a visual learner. Okay, so trends in my, if you're visual, hopefully you'll get this. If not, I sound like a crazy person, but I was like, oh, it's like an atom pattern. Like trends will bounce as far opposite as it will go, but then it'll come right back, but maybe not to the same exact standpoint. And so it is just this kind of constant bouncing to the furthest and then bouncing back to where exactly it came from, but a little bit differently. Again, that sounds absolutely insane, but point, like exhibit A, I'd say from, let's go for Y2K, shall we? Y2K, I think, has been one of the biggest trending eras, not just a trend, like really eras in the last like 10 years since streetwear, okay? There was dopamine dressing, yes. There was like comfortable pajama chic during the pandemic, yes, but those are more so, not even micro trends, those were definitely trends. Those were like trends, right? An era is something that's like a real true defining voice, I'd say, for several years, maybe even. And I think streetwear took over, my gosh, streetwear took over. And then it was like, what is it people say? Office casual, I'd say, took over. Imagine, like, see, oh my God, didn't even think about that. How opposite. Streetwear to like office casual, what? In the like 2010s? And then we had Y2K. What was after Y2K? Quiet luxury. And then what was after quiet, or in between quiet luxury, was like Barbie core. So how opposite is that? But kind of in still a minimal way. And then we went back to recession core. And now there are two things happening. Let's just go ahead and say it, okay? Because there is Brat, there is Charlie XCX, there is this woman who I have known about and listened to for a very long time. I didn't really realize she wasn't like as mainstream understood. I'm not trying to sound pretentious right now, but I really didn't understand that she wasn't super mainstream. Actually, fun fact, my older stepsister, who I don't think I've even ever mentioned on my channel, my stepsister worked on like a Netflix series that she did, random, but that's how I knew about Gabriette. From the jump, again, it sounds like I'm being wildly pretentious, but like I was like, Gabriette is the most beautiful, like this woman is gorgeous. And so I'm so glad that she like actually launched herself into a modeling career, and she's a really dope singer. So I didn't really understand like Charli XX wasn't like as popular as she is. So anyways, she's reached the level of, okay, we're now in stardom. I say rightfully so. So we have Brat Summer, which took me a while to understand. And then we have Miss Jules. Okay, we have the demure trend. How are these things existing at the same exact time? Just ask yourself. And I think my answer to that is that we always want the opposite. Mary did an incredible video kind of going over the whole, like, what is it even called? I don't even know what it's called, but like the idea, the underconsumption trend. Us millennials are like, what? I grew up going through my aunt's makeup that was pan and crusted up and, you know, broken little pieces, and still to this day when I did my inner corner highlight, I had to take a little crumb of a highlighter piece that, like, I just thought that that was normal life, but I realized that the underconsumption trend is, I think, as a lot of trends go, that Gen Z and whatever, what's the generation right under Gen Z? Is it Gen A? Did it go back to the beginning? Anyways, whatever even younger is, they're fascinated with millennials. I don't even understand what this word means, but we've been categorized as being chuggy. I don't really know what that means, but I just thought it was normal to not buy a whole new makeup palette if 3 of your eyeshadows have hit pan, because that seems wasteful, and I'm okay with not showing anybody my disgusting makeup palette, and I'm okay. Ask my mom, okay? I'm okay wearing things until they possibly have holes in them, and I'm okay with all of that stuff. And so there's like that trend now, which is kind of mind-blowing, but also a little fascinating. But I realized that that spurred off of people being so darn annoyed with the clean girl aesthetic. And so those two things are like existing at the same point. And now we've reached the level of Brat versus Demure, and how interesting and fascinating. How does this relate to handbags, you ask, with that wild but hopefully like kind of fun intro? Because I find myself, especially last year, I really found myself getting very excited over all of these trends, even though I'm so anti-trend. I really like, things are beautiful. You know what I mean? Like, these designers are amazing and they make beautiful handbags. Does that mean they're all for you? Especially in a case of last year, even though I know myself, even though I've experimented so much, even though I've kind of dressed the same exact way for the last 13 to 15 years, when you really get into the nitty-gritty, especially when you are in your first year of, you know, having a YouTube channel and everything is really pretty and shiny and new, I definitely experimented. Exhibit A, you know, me thinking that the Gucci Horsebit vintage bag, me thinking essentially that I could be as cool as Rihanna. Who said that? Who said that? Not me. Why me? Why did I say that? Why did I think that? Who told me I thought I could be like Rihanna? No, I had that bag for like a year and a couple of months. Wore her once, like honestly, wore her once, and then once like to try to wear her for a simple walk around my neighborhood, aka my old neighborhood, which was Soho. So it was okay to kind of put on a fit and just take a walk. But yeah, I think that experimenting is why I feel so calm now. So I thought we'd explore some kind of handbag trends and not even trends, but just like collecting practices. And I hope to end this with how you can feel really calm and really secure in your collecting voice, because I think I definitely, you know, I dipped my toe / maybe I accidentally fell into the pond, you know, a couple times last year. But you know why I feel really good about me and the way that I experiment with trends is because I buy 99.9% of my items. This is not just handbags. This is my shoes included. I know some people don't like that, but I try to look for unworn boots, yada, yada, yada. This is my jackets. This is my sunglasses. This is pretty much everything, including jewelry. I buy and furniture. I buy 99.9% of my items pre-loved. Why do I do this, you ask? When we do buy pre-loved, and I know it always sounds like I'm some sponsor for something, for just like the general idea of buying pre-loved. This is not the case, that doesn't exist, but when we do buy pre-loved, that gives us an opportunity to experiment. Exhibit A, the bag that, you know, she is for sale right now, my double circle bag from the row, because this is such a good example, which is why I'm busting her out. I love the row. I already knew this was an amazing bag for me. I love my larger version, which is hanging, which I realized I should hang her. So she's in the closet hanging. And yet color red I know is not me. I know that the color red is not me. And yet the color red was having such a trending moment last year. And the color red is just so like true to the row, yada, yada, yada. I experimented with the one of the lowest price bags from the row I could find. I loved it. I tried it. I only wore it once, maybe like again, 1.5 times, maybe 2 times. And she's now lovingly for sale again. The reason why I feel good about this is because I know that this will sell for probably maybe a little bit over what I purchased it for, or the same exact price. Don't worry guys, I'm not trying to make money off of anybody, but I know that I'm not gonna lose any money on this, and I still got to experiment. I still got to have this literally on a pedestal in my cabinet. I still got to look at it. I still got to try on outfits with it. I realized it didn't work. And yet I did it in a hopefully sustainable way. Again, it sounds like I'm some weird sponsor. I did it in a hopefully sustainable way for me to be able to a year later, like almost exactly a year later, say, okay, this bag didn't really work for me. The other kind of like my last kind of biggest point maybe is that I feel like I've been noticing something, and hopefully in a good, this is almost just a reminder to myself, because when I watch creators of all sizes, I realized a trend, and not a trend as in a trend, but like a literal graph trend. I've realized that so many people will kind of have their eyes set on something, have their mind set on something, collect it, reach those goals, and then all of a sudden be like, okay, been there, done that, now it's time for another thing. And I think in my new kind of Birkin journey, which is not gonna be like a whole thing, but essentially I would like to invest in a Birkin bag. I think in the year 2025, hopefully, even if it's at the end of 2025, okay? That is my little, you know, goal for myself. I set the same goal when I bought my Kelly, who's up there. I'll insert photo here. But I knew it was time. I knew I really wanted one. And here's why I'm saying this, because I think it's so easy to get like really wrapped up in buying only Hermes or buying a Birkin, and what do you buy after you buy a Birkin and a Kelly, and what do you buy after you kind of reach like this very high tier of things. Something that's really interesting that actually has made me feel really good about my trajectory of collecting is that somebody like, I'm sorry to use her as an example, but hopefully it's a really positive example, somebody like Alyssa Lenore. Can we talk about how many, like, I mean, drool worthy, the best of the best, in my humble opinion. Again, obviously we're very aligned. I have a very similar taste category to Alyssa Lenore, but that woman collected some of the most iconic, some of the most amazing, some of the most just like perfect Hermes bags. The whole like first couple years of which I was like really watching her intensively, my goodness, does she have an incredible collection. That, watching her kind of, again, like her journey, let's say, I think has been the best example, because I've noticed, and then there are, you know, less positive examples of people who then sell everything, like then all of a sudden completely denounce really expensive handbags and only want to buy low-key handbags that don't cost that much, that you don't have to be worried about. That's another side of things, a story for a different day. But with the case of Alyssa, I found it so grounding that she then has Holy Grail bags. Like her entire collection was Holy Grail bags. And then it's like she almost swung in an opposite direction, where I think that a lot of people, once you do start collecting Hermes bags and Delvaux bags, I personally think the bags from the row are some of the tippity top of the top in quality. Bottega, and once you get to those, it's not like a thing to reach, but once you are collecting those actively, you kind of say to yourself, wait, but I want a fun, more trending bag. I want to get the Miu Miu multi-pocket bag. That was a bag when Alyssa got that, I was like, I see where your brain's going. Maybe you do get not like tired of, but maybe then you want something more fun. And so why is it that our brains work that way? And is there a way to be super conscious and allow ourselves to have those holy grail on a pedestal, like amazing bags that we collect, but then also leave room for the little magical bags or things, again, anything that you collect, leave room for the thing that is really trending, that somehow really resonates with you, that you want to collect. Is a balance the best, you know? Because I think by me saying this, I'm telling myself this, but also just putting this out there, that I think it's a lot of the time a case of what we have and what we want. And why is there a divide between that? Why is it, oh, I'm wearing no makeup at all, or only really cool, you know, grungy makeup? I am so not like the clean girl aesthetic. I've talked, you know, about in several videos, especially one dedicated video, how I really thought that like the goth cool chic is coming back, and now Charlie XCX is trending, you know? There is a way to merge it, because I can wear a nude lip but also a really cool dark smoky eye and make things grungier and not really do my hair or slick it back and have it be kind of messy and whatnot, but also 99% of the time not wear makeup. We can do two things at once, okay? We can be grungy and clean girl at the same time. I think dibble dabbling in worlds is how we, you know, is how we survive, and also then make things fun so that it's not like I'm getting rid of all of my bags and I'm only gonna collect Louis Vuitton or only gonna collect Hermes, which works for some people, which I love, because Jessie Styles has one of the most beautiful, amazing, incredible, iconic collections I've ever seen. But for me, I think what I'm realizing as I'm kind of downsizing again, you know, conservatively downsizing my collection, and realizing the, not mistakes that I made, but the things that I did get caught into, the things, that the little trends and little things here and there that I was like, ooh, let me just try this on for size, that didn't quite work. Staying true to yourself while allowing room for the magic, allowing room to collect a random trending bag that you'd never think you'd even like, but you really, really are drawn to. I think we can have the best of both worlds. What do you guys think? I know this was kind of a pointless video. I don't know what the point of this video was, other than to ask the question of, can we have two things at once? Why is it the grass is always greener? Why is it always one or the other? Does this exist? Am I just an idealist? I don't know. I can't wait to hear your thoughts. Most importantly, I cannot wait to see you in my next video. Bye, guys.